Welcome back. The show's called Brand Equity and I'm Sonali Krishna. Now, we all know that last week, Barc published its maiden television ratings that is supposed to be the new industry TV currency when one talks of ratings. While Barc went live last week, a lot of industry folk are now of the belief that this is really the death knell for Tam, the TV ratings agency that is a 50-50 joint venture between Kantar Media and Nielsen, and which has been the official television currency for now over 15 years in India. But Tam's fate is under scrutiny now, and so I decided to catch up with Krishnan, the CEO of Tam, to get a sense from him on what the future holds for this company. Well, on that note, thank you so much for joining us, LV. Truly a pleasure. And, I think these are difficult times for you, aren't they?
Not at all, actually. Because I don't think so that when, Procter & Gamble launched Ariel in 1988 and Surf was the only detergent bar or powder that was at that moment of time, did anybody ask Unilever what's going to happen to Surf? Nobody, right? Okay. Both of them existed, actually.
But LV, I have to ask you this question. The whole industry is supporting Barc, for this particular endeavor of TV ratings and it becoming really the industry currency, so to speak, given the fact that 60% is held by IBF and the balance 40 is split between the AAAs of I and the ISA. And given the fact that, almost most major, agencies and broadcasters have actually, supported them in spirit in terms of, creation of Barc. I also believe that a lot of them have unsubscribed from you. Where does that leave you? And what is really Tam's fate going forward?
Okay. Let's understand the three bodies, 3SFI, ISA and IBF, and their members actually. What is their core business? Okay. Is their core business research? Or is their core business advertising, broadcasting, or product selling actually?
Yeah, you're right.
Obviously,
the latter.
The latter. Okay. While who are the investors in Tam? It's the Nielsen and Kantar,
sure,
which are primarily two global research companies whose core business is research, media research actually.
Right.
Now it's up to the user to take a call saying, okay, do I need to source data from a body which actually is representative and whose core function is not research, versus a organization whose core competency is itself giving media research data. So over a period of time, people will come to know which one to use and which one not to use at the end of the day. To add on to it, okay, Barc released this data last week actually.
Right.
Welcome.
Right.
Great. Now let's look at what are the plus points of Tam actually over Barc.
Sure.
Okay. One, we are the only one who is actually providing individual level data because Barc is releasing household level data.
Right.
For an advertiser, when I'm targeting a detergent bar or probably a Kellogg's morning cereal actually, then he's not targeting the entire family or the entire home actually. Okay. The home is a non-identity in nature.
Right.
Okay. It's primarily the individuals in the home that are important for whom they need to communicate their message to.
Right.
For which individual level data is important.
Right, but I mean,
Second,
LV, but just before we move to the second point, I mean, I did actually ask that question to Barc last week when I did a panel with them. And, according to them, they will be releasing individual data soon. Sure. I mean, this is a question of, the first few months they will stabilize and they will have household data going out, but then they will get to individual data. I mean,
perfect. But let's look at the present.
Sure.
Okay. Today, the advertiser is wanting information today, not waiting for what's going to happen 6 months down the road, actually. Okay. What happens 6 months down the road is something else completely. At that time, we'll come up with new things, actually, which will make it important for them to look at TAM data too at the same time. But for the present, I'm saying individual level data. Second, we are the only one who is releasing LC1 data, which is semi-rural data, actually. Okay. So Barc is still focusing on urban markets. Okay. And therefore, anybody like Unilever wanting to measure that particular market has to rely on TAM. Third, Doordarshan is still not, I mean, you're talking about the entire IBF supporting TAM, actually, supporting Barc. Yeah, sure. But at the same time, are you measuring? If you're a measurement organization, you should measure everything that's possible to be measured.
Yes.
Okay. Doordarshan is not reported.
No, it is. They're not yet able to they're not able to measure terrestrial yet.
Yes,
right?
which is terrestrial.
Yeah,
in nature,
but they're working on it.
Yeah, they're working on it.
Yeah.
Let me be clear about it. I'm not degrading TAM or Barc in nature.
Sure.
All I'm saying is there's a fair comparison being made, actually.
As it stands today.
As it stands today.
Sure.
And today, we are reporting terrestrial too, actually. So a Unilever who wants to advertise, or a Colgate, or Dabur, who wants to go into Doordarshan, wants to see the evaluation of that particular campaign, has to depend on TAM to bring out that aspect, actually. Fourth, it depends on watermarking for Barc. Okay. On the other hand, TAM doesn't require any, it's a broadcaster independent way. So what happens is the fact that we are able to measure 700 plus channels today. Barc is only able to refer half of that actually, 50% of that. So if you're going to advertise the remaining 50% of it, you will have to depend upon TAM to know at least where it stands actually. So fifth, I need, for big events, etc., I need information that can go back in time and do benchmarking exercises. Okay. Whether it's a World Cup or whether it's an IPL or whether it's a future Sunday event actually, or a film fast show or a Stardust show, I need to go back and check how they have done in the past, so that I can actually start doing benchmarking and seeing whether I should invest in that particular property as an advertiser or not. So purely when you look at the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 characteristics, we are way ahead of them actually. So at this moment of time, I think the advantage lies in for the advertiser to take TAM and move on with life actually. Now today what is happening is that same data is getting replicated by another service provider. Okay. So the data is not looking different. If somebody was saying the fact that, hey, was the data from TAM was right or wrong actually, and if they needed a validation, here is it, the last week's data, which looks like a replica of what exactly TAM has done over the last 17 years actually. Now the question is price. Okay. Is the price really affordable for a common broadcaster to go and buy a Barc which is 3 times the expense of TAM? Okay. Possibly that's going to be the question mark. And that is going to play a crucial role actually in the coming days as we go along into the future. Okay. At the end of the day, it's an industry body. Okay, right? So if it's industry body, then I think the other question that needs to be raised is the fact that why is it that all the 3 industry bodies are not at equivalent value actually?
You're saying in terms of shareholding pattern, 60,
Exactly.
40, 60, 20, 20.
Exactly.
So you're saying 60% is controlled by the broadcasters. So hence you're saying that this is more a broadcasting controlled rating system.
Exactly.
And what problem do you see in that?
No, I'm not saying the fact
I'm
that I have a
asking.
problem with that
No,
actually.
I'm
It's
asking
an end
you.
customer who has to take a call on these things actually, how he wants to perceive these areas,
The
actually.
advertiser here, of course.
Exactly.
So what is the problem?
From
What
our
is the,
perspective-
what is the problem with a broadcast controlled rating system where the power really rests with the broadcaster?
Like you are the player and you are the umpire too at the same time, as simple as that. The user is comfortable with the player and the umpire being the same actually, or the student and the evaluator of an exam being the same. Well, then that's okay actually. But on the other hand, all I'm saying is the fact that I'm coming in from a house of 2 parent companies who are research oriented. The customer has to decide the fact that here are these 2 options. One product coming from a global research company, other one coming in from a broadcaster-led, higher stakeholder broadcaster body actually. Take a call, which one he wants.
But they've done a fair job, managing
Sure.
their environment, I must say. I
Sure.
mean, you have to give it to them,
Sure.
right? Which I think is your failing at some level.
I want to clarify over here. They are the environment. So what do you need to manage for? Okay. I'm a service provider. Okay. So obviously they should manage the environment far better than what TAM can do.
You also have to go to 20,000 meters
Sure.
within that stipulated timeline, right?
Sure.
And right now, if I'm not mistaken, you're about 11,000.
We are 12,200.
So you're fine. Your as of now figure, as it stands today, is 12,200 meters.
meters.
So urban and LC1 markets, and you don't have any rural coverage right now.
Presently not.
Right. My question to you is, how do you go from 12,000? What was 12? How do you go from 12,200 meters currently to 20,000 meters? What's your timeline?
Okay, from our perspective, it depends upon what we want to provide to the industry as information actually. Okay? If the 2 parent companies decides the fact that yes, I think there is enough scope in the market to further expand and look at areas that are required to be looked at, okay, from a delivery point of view of
Sure.
data, then yes, we will put those meters in those particular areas
Okay.
where it's giving returns of investment for the 2 parent companies as well as benefiting the end customers at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So the choice is very much there between either we want to go into rural, okay, and then also top it up with the top end of the segment actually, which is the elitist segment
Sure.
of the
Top end of the
marketplace.
pyramid.
Exactly.
Got it.
So balance both of them actually, or whether we need to look at only focus on rural and see how we want to measure that segment significantly.
So basically what you're saying is right now that decision is on hold until you get a green signal from your parent body,
companies,
right?
exactly.
Which is both 50-50 JV. The other question, LV, is that, and I know you're gonna try and dodge the question, but I really
No.
want to put you on the spot.
course.
I believe that Barc is already in discussion with TAM to buy you out, right? And I know this, and I'm pretty confident of the information. And is that really something that you're looking forward to?
Okay, let me divide this question into two parts actually. One is about whether we are in discussion with Barc actually. Okay, yes and no. Okay. When I say that, when I say yes, it means the fact that we are very open. We have never closed our doors and said the fact that no, we are not ready to work with one person and only ready to work with another person. We are always open.
We're not. I'm not talking about amicable working together. Yeah. Let's join hands. I mean, I'm really talking about a marriage here.
Why not?
Right?
Working together can also lead to a marriage. Actually, that's how it happens, right? You first court a female and then start getting married to.
I am asking you, what level of courting has this reached? Are we ready to consummate this marriage yet?
I think it's too early to say that actually. Okay, and probably that may take some time to discuss, and that's up to Kantar, Nielsen, and the Barc board to discuss how they want to see that life going forward.
In hindsight, LV, do you think to avoid this entire situation that you find yourself in today, do you think you should have moved the market faster? In the sense, you know, people were asking you for more meters, people had problems with data, etc. You know, and I don't want to revisit all those problems. You and I both know, and the industry knows what you're talking about. The problem is, do you think you should have addressed those issues and moved faster to really expand your meter base and, you know, fulfill all these, nagging issues that people kept throwing at you as if you were a dartboard? Do you think you would have been in a much better situation? We wouldn't have seen a Barc today if you had actually moved the market faster.
If you want the representation to increase, okay, are there people ready to put in money? The fact that Barc came with the three bodies actually, and they had 280 crores, okay, vis-a-vis 75 crore budget that we have actually. Okay. See the difference, it's 4 times the size actually. So obviously they can go 4 times the size. Why only twice are they going actually? Okay. They should be talking about 12 into 4, 48,000 meters actually, rather than they're only looking at around 24,000. Okay. When they're pricing it at 4 times the price actually. I mean, or whatever the budgets that they're talking about is 4 times the size. So I think the important thing is the fact that we got to realize what TAM stood for actually. Okay. We were started as a joint industry body by the industry, but the industry clearly indicated the fact that we are only going to look at the technical side of the TAM exercise. We are not going to be looking at the funding part of it at all, or the financing part of it at all actually. Okay. So therefore, the cost of entire financing the exercise was left to Kantar and Nielsen actually. Okay. And they have taken that particular movement to pledge the funds to move from a 750 meter that we existed in 99, 2000 to almost now 12,200 meters actually, and that's big investment actually. Okay. If we had 280 crores with us, we couldn't have batted an eyelid and moved on to 50,000 meters actually. Okay. But nobody gave us that particular kind of money, and even now I know the fact that the market is struggling to get that kind of a cost at the end of the day. But at the end of the day, it's not the sample size that determines the value of that particular data. Okay. Because if you look at the data, even when you look at the data when Barc goes up to around 24,000 meters or 20,000 meters, they have already covered urban. The rest of them are going to be LC1 and rural markets. Now look at the urban data that they've created with the sample size that they've created and the TAM data. They are similar in nature. Okay. Now when you're looking at that, how is the sample size going to change the way in which the data is going to look like? All you can get from better sample size is better dissection of the data, okay, or smaller target groups, more sample size to show what the behavior patterns are looking like in that segment. Now the question is the fact that if I do represent that particular segment, okay, is the returns coming in for that particular segment of genre of channels significantly? Okay. If that returns are going to come up, then yes, it's worth investing actually. If the returns are not going to come in, then obviously the question that will arise is why did we go into such a big expansion exercise? The future is not of sample sizes at all actually, frankly. Okay. I believe the fact that the threshold level of sample size is somewhere in the range of around 12,000 to 15,000 homes. Okay. Beyond that, the cost of investment is going to be humongous in nature. Okay, like the way we are seeing it in the case of Barc actually. Unless you have such big funders, it's impossible to go up to that kind of a size of level. So what you then start doing is the fact that look at other practical ways in which you can access data to, which is called as the universe data. The universe data are things like, for example, the set-top box data that is coming up. So once digitization happens and which government is very clear about, okay, the more and more set-top boxes can be converted into creating data access situations. So that data comes into play. So the source gives you the richer data. The panel sits on top of the universe data and allows you to framework that universe data on the basis of the panel behavior into demographics and psychographics and lifestyles. Okay. So as we go into the future, our plan is largely to move in that particular direction rather than keep expanding the panel size itself.
You know, you have been the face of TAM for a number of years. You have combated many battles. You have been providing this service as the sole provider for also many years. At some level, do you feel betrayed by this industry? Not
at all, actually. Okay. I think it's important to take out emotions from this business and be very, very practical about it, actually. Okay. It's a business which doesn't give you much bottom line. Okay. It's a business which is really, really, you need a stomach to be in this kind of a business, actually. Okay. And at the same time, it gives you quite a different kind of learnings, amazing kind of learnings, actually, okay, where teamwork is very, very important in nature. Okay. Integrity is extremely important in nature. Okay. And vision is extremely important in nature. Okay. When I say that, what I mean by that is that data has ceased to exist. It's a commodity, actually. Okay. For a user, whether it's a Barc or a TAM in reality, if the environment was not supporting Barc, it was an independent player by itself, actually. Okay. We could have been an equal platform competing with each other. Okay. Then for a user, data is just a data. It's just a commodity by itself. If it had been any other organization other than TAM, actually, by now it could have got folded and shut off, actually. Okay. It can't survive. Okay. The reason why TAM survives is still because of the fact that it's able to move the needle from just a data to actually insights. Okay. And those insights have driven for the last 15 years broadcasters' businesses. I think it's been a fantastic journey of 15 years that I've had with a terrific team that has supported me through all this particular little problems that we have had on the way. There's a fantastic board of Cantor and Nielsen. You couldn't have expected a much more better than this. I mean, it's been just incredible journey, actually. On that note, LV, thank you so much. This has been a true pleasure and lovely to see you all reared up and so confident and optimistic about the future, and I wish you all the very best. Thank you very much, actually, Sonali.